I got an invitation from Southern Adventist University. They invited me to go to school to get my training, my education there. At the bottom of the letter, there was a Bible verse, a promise, Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. As I said, we didn't plan to go to US, but we didn't want to go against God's will. It would take a miracle to get a visa. We were hoping that we don't get a visa, but God actually worked out the details. We got a visa. I'm not going to go through the details, but we got to the US and we had nothing. We didn't have work permit, insurance. We didn't know English. We didn't have money except $140 with us. We had nothing. When we got to the US, my friend Lauren, he promised even before he came. He called when we were in Romania and he said, if you come, if you get a visa, I will pay. God bless me. I have a business. It's very profitable. If you come, I will pay for your expenses. He promised. He will pay for school. He will pay for books. He will pay for apartment. He will pay for insurance, all the expenses. When he got in America, he took us from the airport, very kind, very good man, very friendly. He said, you have a week free. Let's go take a few days, relax, rest, take a little vacation, and then you start school. We did that. And then he took us to school. And he paid tuition for 1 month. He paid housing, apartment for 1 month. And then he said, I go to do some work in my business. I'll come back and pay for the whole year. He went to New York or somewhere in that area. And he had a heart attack, basically a cardiac arrest. His heart stopped functioning. He dropped in front of the hotel. And he was dead for 7, 8 minutes. They saved him. They brought him back with electric shocks. But because his brain was without oxygen, he lost his memory. He didn't remember his name. He didn't remember his wife. He didn't remember who I was. He could not work. He was in hospital many months. He lost his job. He lost his business. He lost his truck. He lost everything. Sure, he could not help me anymore. So here we are in a foreign country. We don't know English. We don't have any help. We don't have any money. We don't have health insurance. We don't have money for school or for apartment. We don't have a work permit. We don't have a car. We would have to walk like the disciples. What do you do in that situation? I never asked God to go to the US. In fact, I didn't want to go. What would you do? Well, we prayed. We asked God for help. But God didn't seem to answer. Nobody. I didn't ask anybody to give us money. I didn't, in fact, tell anybody our problem. Nobody helped us. So what do you do when you pray and you still struggle? We didn't have food for many days. When you don't eat for many days, you are dizzy. And so I remember praying, and I was so stressed that I got a very bad allergy. From head to toes, a lot of red spots that were itchy and hurting and burning. It was like Job. All my skin was with allergies. Well, again, I prayed and I poured my heart and I pleaded that the Lord would answer my prayers. And he didn't seem to answer. And I remember, I used to be very proud. I used to think I am educated, I have a business, I have money, I know people, I have connections, I'm somebody. I used to be very stubborn. It was my way or no other way. Everybody had to do it my way. I used to basically do things differently. But right now, I didn't know English. I didn't have food. I didn't have money. Everything was going bad. I was sick. I was almost ready to just give up everything. Basically, I went to prayer and eventually I fully surrendered. And I said, Lord, I tried everything. I have no more solution, so I give up. If you want to kill me, kill me. If I live, I live. If I die, I die. I surrender. I just give it to you. If you want to solve it, great. If not, I accept it. I got to the bottom of my resources or my ideas. I had no solution. I didn't see the light. I didn't see any hope. I didn't see any solution. I remember one night I cried the whole night. I prayed the whole night. I got no answer. In the morning, I was tired. I walked to school and I stopped in front of the seminary building. There was a big trunk from a tree, and the trunk was there, and there was background music, and I put my head against the trunk, and I started to pray and to cry and say, Lord, I have no solution. If you want, you can help me. Somebody came and hit me on the back. When I looked, it was the dean of the religion department. It was Dr. Blanco. He said, young man, why are you crying? I got straight. I cleaned my eyes. And my pride didn't want people to know that I am crying, that I struggle. So I said, I'm not crying. Yes, you are crying. I said, nah, that's allergy. I'm not crying. I never cry. He said, you are too proud to acknowledge. You need to be more humble. And he said to me, whatever challenges you have, whatever problems you have, if God is with you, He will take care of it. If God brought you here, He will take care of it. You don't need to understand. It may not happen now. He's going to do it in His way, in His time, but He will take care of it. I said in my mind, yeah. Easy for you to talk, but you don't know my situation. Well, that Sabbath, we went to church. And Dr. Ed Wright, who was the pastor of the Collegedale Church, started the sermon with Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you. That was the Bible verse that we got in the letter when we got the invitation to go to school. That was in the morning when we went to the embassy to get visa in our devotional. The same Bible verse. God has a funny way to talk. When He talks, you know it. And so the pastor started the sermon with the same Bible verse. I know the plans I have for you. And then he talked about Moses. And he said, God sent Moses to Egypt. And Moses said, I don't know the language. And I looked to my wife and I said, we don't know the language. We started to learn in the last 3 months a few words. We understand a little, but not a lot. And God said to Moses, who made the tongue? I can help you know the language. And Moses said, I don't have money. And we didn't have money. And God said, if I am with you, I will provide. And the pastor said, if you follow God's plan, whatever you go through, you don't need to understand. You need to trust in God because He works the best. He will turn everything in good. He uses all things work together for good. He has a plan. And if He allows something in your life, He has a purpose. But that's for good. So I looked to my wife and I said, I don't understand what is going on. Our life is upside down. But if God allowed us to come here, we should not worry. We should just trust in Him. We went home that Thursday night, the pastor knocked in the door. I opened the door. Whoa, the pastor of Collegedale Church. That's a big church, many thousand members. He came to visit me, who I am a foreign student, a new student. Nobody knows me. And we didn't have any furniture. I said, come in. He entered. I said, sit down. But there was no chair. When I said sit down, I meant down on the floor. He looked around, no chair. So he sat down. I sat down. And he said, Dr. Blanco found you crying in front of the school. And he told me that he did some research. And he learned that your sponsor almost died and he cannot help you anymore. So we talked to the school and to the church. And we decided to pay 1 year apartment and 1 year tuition. Only if you get straight A's. If you get a B, we stop paying. Only 1 year. We will not pay 2, 3, 4 years. I didn't ask for it, but they offered. Long story short, I prayed and God helped me finish school in 1 year and 1 summer, straight A's. I finished the bachelor by God's grace. Though I didn't know English, I learned English and finished in 1 year. I remember I learned on my knees praying. When I got the grades, I knew that those belonged to God because He helped me. So they came back and they said, Pavel, you finished in 1 year and you finished with straight A's. We are impressed. We are going to pay another year if you go to Andrews, but only 1 year. By God's grace, in 1 year and 10 months, I finished my master's. Now looking back, God did take care of it. Not right away, but God allowed those things to teach me some lessons that are necessary in order to grow and to serve Him, like humility, like dependence on Him, trusting in Him when you don't understand, having compassion on others, being more flexible, not so stubborn, being more humble, not so proud. Those are necessary lessons. So when God works, you may not understand, but He works for best and He will take care of you.